Alright folks, we're back. Let's get to the next case. It's open already. It is Deathmatch. Matthew, our time in Asia was a pretty wild ride. A kidnapping ring, brainwashed children, discovering that an innocent-looking grandmother was actually Sombra's child recruitment mastermind. Not to mention that after he rescued Sanjay from Sombra's clutches, Carmen adopted him. I still can't believe that happened. We've blown the lid off Sombra's child recruitment program, but our job's far from over. Obasan's behind bars, but now we have evidence that the children who survived Sombra's brutal hunt are sent here to Bangkok. But why? That's why we've come to Oceania, Matthew, one of the most geographically and culturally diverse regions on Earth. Matthew, we just received word from local police that the country's most popular Thai boxing champion has been found dead. Tanit Tongpro was scheduled to defend his title tonight at Rajadamnern Stadium. Isn't that a matter for the Thai authorities? We've got bigger fish to fry. Until a cause of death has been established, local police want to keep this under wraps, so they've asked the Bureau to discreetly conduct the investigation. Which is exactly why I want you on the case. If we're going to track down Sombra, we'll need the authorities on our side. Matthew, let's get down to that stadium and get to the bottom of this.
Plus, it's a baby reveal more than 100 years in the making why this family had no problem picking out the perfect name for that little addition.
Oceanic Tonewire Cable's new enhanced DVR. Record up to 6 shows at once.
Get more from your TV, internet, and phone with Oceanic Tonewire Cable. Get 300 megabits per second internet across the state.
Oh, I see it.
2,700 Wi-Fi hotspots to stay connected.
Gym bag.
Records up to 6 shows at once. Plus watch exclusive Lego shows.
There's the victim's body.
OC16, giving you more of what you want only from Oceanic. Get 300 meg internet with TV and phone for $89.99 per month. Plus, ask you to get a $300 Visa reward card.
Not my best score, but still learning the ropes.
Season is now open at Inspiration. Purchase a leather sofa and we'll pay you $500 or get $300 with your new fabric sofa. And we'll haul away your old couch for free. No old couch, no worries. We have sofa deals store-wide.
Oh man, that guy's dead alright. The poor guy's just hanging on the ropes of the ring. We'll have to wait for the autopsy for a cause of death, but it's clear from those marks around his neck that he was murdered. Did you find any clues, Matthew? Ah, that gym bag looks promising. The logo matches the one on the victim's shorts, so it must have belonged to Tanid. I wonder what those cardboard pieces could be. Let's put them back together and find out. Well, Matthew might not be chasing Sombra, but we've definitely got a fight on our hands. I need to get some more stars, so sit tight, folks.
Conditions are constantly changing.
Alright, folks, I got 11 stars. I'll examine the torn paper first.
Lieutenant, we were out having dinner. We just got your message that you needed to see me. Admire. Recognize it, Mrs. Fletcher? Yes, I guess you do.
It's Clark Randall's watch, all right?
Got it.
We have a description of the guy, but so far...
That promotional sign you've put back together advertises a kickboxing gym. Train with the champions at Simply Warriors Muay Thai. And the coach is one Orlando Dukes Weathers. You're right, Matthew. The gym's logo matches the one on the victim's bag and shorts. It must be where he used to train. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? It's time for a one-on-one session with Coach Weathers.
I intend to press wrongful death suits against this department. And you...
About training. Tanid. Coach Weathers, we found your advertisement at the stadium. We need to talk to you about taking some lessons. Great. I knew those promotions would work. You've made a wise decision, my friend. You'll train with champions here, and call me Dukes.
I'm hearing
Okay, Dukes. We've got some bad news. We found one of your champions, Tanid Tongpro, murdered. Tanid's dead? How is that possible? He's in the best shape of his life. He was defending his championship belt tonight. As the reigning champion, I imagine Tanid had a lot of competition. Is there anyone who might have wanted to take rivalries outside of the ring? I've been training fighters since I hung up my gloves as an undisputed champion. Rivalries are part of the game. Fighters don't win title belts by murdering their opponents. Oh man, Tanid's trained with me since he was a kid. We're like family. I don't know what I'm going to do now. We're sorry you've lost a champion and a friend, Mr. Weathers. This was supposed to be the biggest night of Tanid's life. I never imagined it would be his last.
This whole thing's starting to fall apart like a paper airplane in a rainstorm. I'm seeing visions of me.
Jim Bagnell?
And Linda Dixon's lawyer stripping away my skin later on.
Her husband, Lieutenant.
Lychee Dreams Resort Bar. It's a matchbook. You found a matchbook in the victim's bag, Matthew? Why would a professional kickboxer be smoking? The logo on the matchbox says Lychee Dreams Resort Bar. You're right, maybe our victim was a regular. Let's head to the beach and take a look around this resort bar, Matthew.
Thanks for seeing me on such short notice, Kay.
Oh, sit, please.
Thanks.
I'm afraid I'm not in a position to do you much good, Pauline.
Look, that $100,000 I lost to Clark might not seem like a lot to you, but
Don't be silly.
well, it represented a
Okay.
big chunk of my
That's the
disposable
first
income,
coins.
a major chunk, as a matter of fact. And though I got turned down on my request for a loan, I just thought,
Pauline, 10 minutes ago, I left the bank president's office. He reminded me that I had authorized that $3 million loan to Clark Randall. Then he fired me.
oh God, I'm so sorry.
Me too.
Alright.
Well, I guess I'll have to think of something else. Thanks anyway. I'd really help if you could.
Excuse me, secretary's at one.
Bar sign, starfish, coconut cocktail.
I'm a little surprised to see you.
Bar receipt.
To close the murder case.
So did I.
Locked tablet. Hand wrap.
If you don't mind, I'd like to go over Mrs. Randall's activities the day her husband was killed.
Sure. Let's see, it was immediately following the groundbreaking ceremonies. I threw a little cocktail party at my place about 6:30. Clark couldn't attend, but Marion did come by some time before 7. She phoned Clark and told her that he'd put some steaks in the barbecue for everybody, and we all left for Clark and Marion's. 20 minutes later, he discovered Clark's body.
Think carefully. Marion nearly passed out, so it seems.
Wow, Matthew, this is a swanky place. Makes me want to kick back with a cocktail. But you're right, we have work to do. We know our victim was here, so did you find anything that might shed some light on his murder?
Hey,
That hand wrap looks like the one the victim was wearing. In fact, the body was missing one. We should get a sample of that colored powder. A locked tablet is always a promising clue, Matthew, especially with a picture of our victim on it. I'll leave you to crack the code. And that bar receipt has our victim's name on it too. There's something written at the bottom, but it's all soggy. Let's clean that up.
Clark's just finished his meeting. He wants to barbecue his sauce on the steak.
Okay, I'm gonna get some stars first, so sit tight.
So I need to make
Alright, I got myself back up to 11 stars. Let's examine the bar receipt.
What does it cover? Home damage from things like lightning, meteors, a fire-breathing dragon. A dragon? Yeah, even a fire-breathing one. But not my hot water heater.
This is the last time I cover you
Now, the water heater would have been covered with a home warranty from American
something. The handwritten message on the bar receipt says, "This is the last time I cover your bar tab, Manawan." That's odd. You'd expect a Thai boxing champion to pay for his own drinks. Good idea, Matthew. If this Manawan says she was covering Tanid's tab, she must be a bartender. Let's find her. Manawan Tapa. Oh my God, she must be his sister or wife or what have you.
Life happens. Have a plan to get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call.
Excuse me, Manawan. We know you're busy, but we'd like to ask you a few questions about Tanid Tongpro. What kind of trouble is he in now? The permanent kind, I'm afraid. He was murdered. What? My husband is dead? Who would do such a thing to Tanid?
What it is with me. Wherever I show up, people are suddenly out of work.
Tanid was your husband?
I need a list of everybody.
We're terribly sorry. When did you last see Tanid? He was here last night, just like every other night of the week. It was always the same with Tanid, drinking, smoking, women, lazy at training.
Who told you that?
He was a champion, but also a philanderer.
Yeah, maybe they mentioned what happened to the...
But Tanid was the only family I had, and I loved him regardless.
You mean you didn't know that he was...
We're sorry for your loss. If Ranger Mouthy discovers anything about your husband's murder, you'll be the first to know.
Never asked many questions like that. There's no need to, really.
I hope you're not leaving town, Mr. Bose.
No. I got myself a new job. Found on Palm Canyon Drive. I'm selling this new development. It's called
Right.
Vista.
Let's do the hand wrap.
Best price houses I ever sold. Really. Since my last job.
Have a brochure. This is way out of my price range. The Twin Palms Pawn Shop. You been there?
I can't say that I have.
No.
Got it.
Your age and build went in there the other
Yellow
day.
powder.
Randall's watch.
Great, Matthew. Let's get the sample you got from the victim's hand wrap to Lars.
Thanks for the list.
All right. Don't mention it.
It's 3 hours. Let's examine the log tablet too. I bet this is going to be a 9-hour wait.
Yeah, Bose here. Oh, hi there, Miss Byrne. How are you?
You invited me to dinner a couple weeks ago, Sterling. Is that invitation still open?
UAB, QAN.
Board of teams, and I want to talk to you about real estate.
F. No. E. Oh no. E7M.
7:30.
I'll be waiting. And all I have to do is keep his hands on it.
Nice job unlocking the victim's tablet, Matthew. And look, the last thing Tanid opened was a video clip. Let's press play.
I'm not sure he knows anything. I've got to start somewhere. I'm not going to have the people in this town whispering about my sister behind her back.
Everyone says Baxter's my biggest challenger yet, but I'm the champion now, and I'll still be the champion when this fight is over. I've been waiting my whole life for a shot at the title. You've had your day, Tanid. Now it's my turn. Baxter, you try to scare me by threatening to take me down, in or out of the ring. But when we face off for the title, you'll know what real fear is. You're looking at the new champion right here. You're going to regret stepping into that ring. This will be your last fight.
Hey, look, how do you think I feel? I'm the one.
Somebody beat him to the punch.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be here in the first place.
Wow, Mouthy, that's a lot of tough talk. It looks like this Baxter was Tanid's opponent for the title. It's probably just bravado, but he sounded eager to take Tanid out, one way or another. Mouthy, let's see if Baxter still has any big talk about our victim.
Take a look.
Victim's title challenger.
Oh, hello.
Arr!
Well, hello, Mrs. Fletcher.
Whoa, take it easy, buddy. Careful with those fists. Sorry, when I'm warming up for a battle, I'm totally focused on the fight. Like a tiger. I'm going to be champion tonight. Well, bring it down a notch, Tiger. I guess you haven't heard. The fight's been canceled. Tanid Tongpro's been murdered. What? That's typical Tanid. I knew he was too scared to fight me, so now he just goes and dies on me. Yeah, I'm not sure that was part of his plan. We've been waiting to fight each other for a long time. I'm disappointed we won't get the chance. I would have enjoyed putting my fist in his face. Yeah, that's too bad. Oh, another thing. What's with the yellow eyes? They're just contact lenses. My fans like to call me the Viper, so it fits my image. Well, Viper, don't slither too far away. Ranger Matthew might need to talk to you again.
Take care.
That will do for the time being, and for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright, folks, it's Matthew. We're back. Let's get the results of the victim's body or the autopsy. Hello, Matthew. I don't have lab assistants now that the triplets are with their grandparents. The place seems pretty empty. Yeah. I think I'll actually miss having them around. Ah, Uncle Jack. I knew you were a softie after all. I am not a softie. Sure. Now, about that body, they say that dead men tell no tales, Matthew, but your victim has told me a lot about this murder. The ligature marks around the victim's neck indicate that he was strangled from behind, most likely with a short piece of rope. Also, you might be surprised to know there were traces of alcohol in Tennant's blood. Alcohol? Why would a champion fighter be drinking only hours before a big title fight? The body wasn't able to tell me that, but it might help explain how the killer caught a trained athlete by surprise and overwhelmed him. However, even if the victim was drunk, your killer would have had to overcome his strength and stamina, meaning your killer must be in top physical condition. Matthew, it looks like our champion met his match even before he put on his gloves. Our killer will have to be more than physically fit to get away from you.
It's graduation season. What's the job But up first tonight, allegations against a local union leader surfacing just as he says he's changing his mind about retiring.
Matthew, I'm glad you're here. With the triplets back with their grandparents, there's no one around to appreciate my knock-knock jokes. Yeah, I hear you, bud. Knock-knock. Okay, bro, who's there? Vitamin. Vitamin who? Someone's at the door. You'd better vitamin. Get it? Invite them in. Vitamin? Okay. So, did you discover anything useful from the sample Matthew took off the victim's hand wrap? That's what I'm getting at. That powder you collected contains a range of chemical compounds, including retinol, folic acid, and ascorbic acid, common ingredients of multivitamin tablets. Given that your victim couldn't have gotten up and left the hand wrap at the resort bar, it must have been dropped by the killer. Which means our killer takes vitamins. Once we catch them, Matthew, they'll realize committing murder is hazardous to their health.
The claim to the job titles and salaries played to Huckleberry's family exceeds union bylaws. It also notes that last month the union paid a bank loan of $24,000.
Well, Matthew, this investigation isn't going like I expected. We haven't found a single trace of Sombra's next level program. And now we're fighting the clock to find the killer of a Thai boxing champion. The victim's coach had been training Tynant for years. What motive could he possibly have to murder his champion? Maniwan was understandably upset about her husband's death, but maybe she'd finally had enough of his drinking and womanizing. And then there's Tennant's challenger Baxter Frazier, who has a lot of harsh words to say, but would he take their rivalry outside of the ring? There's not much to go on. Ranger Matthew, you better take a look at this. This just in, Tynant Tongpro, Bangkok's beloved middleweight champion, has been found murdered. According to our sources, Tongpro was found dead at Rajadamnern Stadium hours before he was scheduled to defend his title against challenger Baxter Frazier. Fans of the longtime champion will pay their respects at the stadium, as well as Ayutthaya Park, where Tongpro often trained with his coach. Stay tuned for any developments on this story. How did the press get wind of this, Archer? You were supposed to keep this investigation quiet. Uh-oh.
I have pulled out that retirement. I am not retiring from the IBW. I'm going to see this through.
And we'll get this, and we'll find out what's going on in Chapter 2. Alright folks, it's Matthew, we're back. Let's start Chapter 2 of Deathmatch, Case 31. Well, Matthew, this investigation isn't going at all like I expected it would. We haven't found a single trace of Sombra's next level program. And now we're fighting the clock to find the killer of a Thai boxing champion. Ranger Matthew, you better take a look at this. This just in, middleweight champion Tynant Tongpro has been found murdered. Fans of the longtime champion will pay their respects at Rajadamnern Stadium and at Ayutthaya Park, where Tongpro often trained. How did the press get wind of this, Archer? I thought I told you to keep this investigation quiet. Well, it's kind of hard to solve a murder without talking to the suspects about it. Regardless, I want you to get to the bottom of this case now. You're right, Matthew. That reporter mentioned that our victim often trained at Ayutthaya Park. Yes, let's get down to Ayutthaya Park to see if we can dig up some more leads and get out of Ingrid's way.
Which is the lowest custody level. If you do see please call 911. A trial date has been set in the sex abuse case against Kamehameha Schools. In that lawsuit,
stating he sexually abused all students at the hands of school psychiatrist Robert Brown between the 1950s and the 1980s. In 1981,
let's try for
each of the 32 plaintiffs will have
let's try for that first star.
Starting in June of 2018, trial has been set for June 1st for the first one. Each of the 32 plaintiffs, as he said, will have separate.
Unactive vandalism means that St. Andrew's Cathedral is closed until further notice. Cathedral officials say their oldest stained glass windows were shattered, sending shards of glass into the building after rocks were thrown right through them. Damage reportedly also done to the Eva cloister and to one of the doors on the west window. The second incident
Torn document.
against the church.
Sunglasses.
A deferred decision today.
There we go.
Authority for Rapid Transportation on the evacuation of the Heart Board met today on a number of issues, but went into executive session away from the public when the discussion over his performance was addressed. When they returned, Heart Board Chair Colleen Hanabusa stated that the investigation into Grabowskis' performance is
I can see why Tanit enjoyed training here, Matthew. Have you found any clues? That stack of papers could be important. I'll get the tape. And what about that basket of leaves? Well, I suppose it's worth a look. I'll let you sift through that.
Going through it, so it's not something that we believe under the law that we can release.
Oh, let's do everything now.
Grabowskis has come under fire last month when the audit of the rail project was released, stating that the $6.6 billion program's current plans and budget were not.
Headband. The headband you found in that basket looks like the one our victim's wearing in that picture. Let's get this headband to Lars right away.
KITV meteorologist Pete Cujano here with that answer. Pete.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Unfortunately, those winds will become lighter today and will become even lighter.
12 hours.
Into upcoming Friday. So look at the winds right now. Northeast about 10 to 15 miles per hour tomorrow. We're talking 5 to 10, so that's going to make the temperatures feel the actual range. Right now, though, it's not bad. 79 degrees here in town. We're at 73 Kilo. Lanai City at 69. A little chill in Lanai City there. Upper 60s. As we take a look at the radar, a lot of cloud cover. We don't have a huge amount of rain. Seeing some showers. It's going to take you into it. Sections of the big
You found a thesis paper. The title reads, Unlocking the Potential of Neural Pathways. Oh, I see. There's a note on the front of the thesis, addressed to the victim. It says, Tanit, you are missing out on a rare opportunity. I wonder what this research has to do with the champion kickboxer. Let me look up an address for this Professor Marshall Metcalf. That's weird. This university photo of Professor Metcalf must be faulty. It makes him look blue. In any case, let's talk to him about this paper. About his paper.
Graduation season, that means hundreds of college students will be for a job. KITV's Brunson Wild Live at the Blaisdell, where HPU students are about to get ready to enter the
Professor Metcalf. Ah, welcome, welcome. I don't often receive visitors. What the? Holy cow, you really are blue. How is that possible? Oh yes, that. I forget that can be off-putting for people. I have a tendency to run experiments on myself. Sometimes there are unexpected side effects. Alright, well, you don't see that every day. Anyway, we came to talk about your thesis. What was this opportunity Tanit Tongpro was missing out on? Oh, you're investigating his death? I heard he'd been murdered. It's so horrid, isn't it? I offered Tanit the chance to participate in a trial of some performance-boosting elements, all legal and above board. Tanit refused to take part in the trials, which, as I said, are completely harmless, using substances only slightly more potent than the vitamins I take. Perhaps if he'd participated, Tanit would still be alive. Harmless experiments? That's a little hard to swallow, coming from a guy who turned himself blue. Don't go anywhere, Professor Metcalf. We'll be seeing you again.
Compared to the same time last year, the latest numbers in construction and professional and business service sectors saw the greatest job gains. Job losses were recorded.
And I'll let the headband run its course. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright, folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the victim's headband from Lars. Good call digging around in that basket, Matthew. I've been able to determine that headband is the murder weapon. The wifeys confirmed the rope profile of the headband matches the ligature marks on the victim's neck. What? You're telling me that Townhead was killed by his own headband? I'm afraid so, although according to DuPont, it's called a mongkol, a sacred headpiece worn by Thai boxers before a contest, signifying good fortune and protection. Now, while I couldn't make a positive DNA match, I found some fingernail fragments on the mongkol, consistent with the grip the killer would have needed to strangle our victim. The fingernail fragments were tainted by traces of a pale green substance containing citrol. Citrol is a fragrant oil presence in lemongrass, a common herb frequently used in Thai cooking. You're saying the killer eats lemongrass? They'd better enjoy it while they can, Matthew. I don't think lemongrass is on the prison menu. Well, Matthew, we found the murder weapon, but that's a far cry from catching our killer. Good idea. Let's go back to the resort bar and take a closer look at Townhead's favorite watering hole. As you can see, I've been able to get a #1 ranking for the time being, basically because I've had the mountain goat help me out, either on the last star or after that. Faded notebook. There we are, tooth. A bloody tooth. Seventh. I'll do what I can. Ew! Why did you pick up a bloody tooth, Matthew? Well, I'll let you take a sample of the blood if you think it'll help. That x-ray is more my kind of clue. Let's cross-reference the image to see if it's relevant to our investigation. That notebook should also be useful. The victim's name is visible, but the rest of the page is faded. Let's dust that off. Gotta get a couple stars, so sit tight. Alright, I got myself 3 stars in the recent crime scene. Let's examine the faded notebook. Notebook's contents. That's I don't know what to put of that. Nice work retrieving what's written on this notebook, Matthew, but it still doesn't make any sense to me. It clearly concerns the championship battle between Townhead and Baxter, but what are those numbers? And what does "he can't lose" mean? Right, Matthew, when it comes to deciphering numbers, there's only one person who can help us. Elliot. Yes, there is. I will also say, though, that I have been starting a new game, CSI Hidden Crimes. I just completed the first case, and I will film the second case. There we are. Blood sample. I'm still grossed out you picked up that tooth, Matthew, but so be it. Let's put that sample you collected under the microscope. Manawans. Uh-oh. That microscope profile says the blood we found on that tooth belongs to Manawan Tongpro, the victim's wife. I agree, Matthew, that doesn't sound good. We better find Manawan and see how she lost this tooth. About her broken tooth? Oh, Ranger Matthew, it's you. I thought you might have been the delivery service. I'm waiting for a shipment of lemongrass. Manawan, we wanted to ask you about this broken tooth we found. Could you tell Ranger Matthew how you lost it? You found this on the floor? How humiliating. But I guess I don't need to hide it anymore. Now that Tanit is dead, he was the one who knocked it out. What? Tanit hit you? Hard enough to knock out a tooth? Everybody loves Tanit, but what nobody knows is that he was violent outside of the ring as well. When he lost his temper, he'd hit me. I was terrified that one day he'd kill me. That's terrible, Manawan. We're sorry that your husband behaved so brutally towards you. I'm very sad, but I won't deny that on some level I'm glad he's dead. Well, let's hope he didn't take matters into your own hands. She's clear for now. Oh no. Oh no. Baxter Frazier's arm. The database came up with a match for that injury profile. It belongs to Baxter Frazier. Tanit's challenger had a broken arm. That sounds like a clear-cut motive for murder, if you ask me. We definitely have a bone to pick with Baxter, Matthew. About his broken arm? About your broken arm, Mr. Frazier. Surely that would have made winning the championship difficult. Oh, you found out about that. I try to keep it as quiet as possible. The only people who knew were my doctor and Tanit. Tanit knew about it. I approached him when I first got hurt to see if he'd postpone the title fight. He said no. So Tanit wouldn't postpone the match even though he knew you were hurt? I'd imagine that made you pretty angry. Not really. I'm always in impeccable shape and I take vitamins to stay on top of my game. I would have destroyed him anyway, broken arm or not. Well, I guess we'll never find out now, will we? But if you killed Tanit because you wanted to cancel the fight, your next checkup will be in the prison infirmary. I'll let the Notebooks contest run its course. And for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the Notebook's contents. Ah, Matthew, I just finished analyzing those numbers in the Notebook. Now, these numbers are money lines, or more specifically, betting odds. Frazier is the underdog, rated at plus 120. This means, for example, that you'd only have to bet $100 to make a $120 profit. Tanit was the clear favorite with odds of negative 130. That means you'd have to wager $130 to make a $100 profit. The profit margin for the underdog is much higher because he's far less likely to win. Because Tanit was the predicted winner, his profit margin is reduced. I get it. That explains the note, he can't lose. But what about the other numbers? I ran those through the local betting agencies and their database references for the two fighters from a bookie named Sean Sansurin. Lucky for us, you picked up this notebook, Matthew. I bet you know what I'm thinking. It's time we paid Sean Sansurin a visit.
Which may include a lump or swelling in your neck, swallowing or shortness of breath. Medicines like Trulicity may cause stomach problems, which could be severe. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and any medicines you take. Taking Trulicity with a
Excuse me, are you Sean Sansurin? Select D. That's me, Croup. Come join me for some spicy lemongrass chicken. You want to place a bet? I have the best odds in town. No bets, Mr. Samsudin, but we did find your notebook and we'd like to talk to you about the murder of Tanid Tongpro. I know. I saw it on the news. The odds of a champion Thai fighter being killed on the day of his title defense must be like 1,000,000 to 1. It's such a shame. My bank account's going to miss that guy. He's made me a very rich man. Your compassion is touching, Mr. Samsudin. Judging from your notebook, you were pretty confident Tanid was going to defend his title. Is that correct? No doubt about it. He was always a sure winner. I was going to make a killing. Oh, sorry. Poor choice of words. Well, let's hope for your sake you didn't make a killing regardless. And don't go too far. We may need to speak to you again. No problem, Ranger Matthew. I'm always around, Crook. And thanks for finding my book. You come see me anytime. I'll give you a bet on the house.
I hear you. To everyone with this pain that makes ordinary tasks extraordinarily painful.
I don't know about you, Matthew, but the more suspects we speak to about this murder, the more I fear we're getting nowhere. We found out about Baxter Frazier's broken arm and how he wanted the fight postponed, but was he desperate enough to take Tanid down permanently? Chan Samsudin was on a winning streak betting on Tanid. It doesn't make sense that he'd sacrifice his cash cow. And then there's Professor Marshall Metcalf. I still can't believe that guy actually turned himself blue. Matthew, I think we might have a problem. Lars, you're blue. Uh-oh. We are going to have to save Lars in Chapter 3. Alright folks, we're back. Let's start Chapter 3 of Deathmatch. The more suspects you speak to about this murder, Matthew, the more I feel we're getting nowhere. And the longer this investigation takes, the more chances Sombra have of getting away. Matthew, I think we might have a problem. Lars, what have you been doing? You've turned blue. I know. I was inspired by Professor Metcalf's self-experimentation, so I did some digging into his research, and, well, this happened. Holy cow, buddy. Are you feeling alright? I'm fine, bro, but we need to find Professor Metcalf and ask him how I can fix this. Matthew, I don't want to be blue forever. We better go do that quickly. Angela will kill you if she sees you. One other thing, Matthew. While looking into the professor's research, I discovered that although your victim refused the performance enhancement trials, some competitors didn't. The professor's been experimenting on other Thai fighters. Alright, Lars. You and Matthew go to talk to Professor Metcalf about this research and see if you can't get yourself back to normal. Meanwhile, I'll head over to the park ruins, Matthew. Come meet me there for another sweep of the scene. We don't have a second to lose.
It was a celebration of mothers and daughters. Don't turn your back on your mother, Rebecca. Don't let your little girl grow up without a grandmother. I'm 85 and I still cherish all the memories that I had with mine.
Ranger Matthew, sorry if I'm speaking loudly. I've been testing the regenerative properties of lemongrass and ammonia in the mixture has left me rather hard of hearing. Professor Metcalf... Good God, man, you're blue! How the devil did you manage that? I was inspired by your research methods, Professor Metcalf, and wanted to do a little experimenting of my own. I assume since you're still blue that the condition is irreversible. Far from it. I do have an antidote, but I haven't bothered to use it myself. I've actually grown quite fond of being blue. That's wonderful news. I'll be pink again. Thank you. Think nothing of it. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm late for my daily jog around the campus. Not so fast, Professor Metcalf. We discovered that you've been conducting your performance enhancement trials on other Thai fighters. You sound like Tanid. Just because Tanid and that opponent of his refused to take part doesn't mean that other fighters couldn't sign up. Tanid was angry that it might give him an unfair advantage, so warned me to stop. He even threatened to report my research to the boxing authorities. Now that he's dead, that won't be happening. Very convenient for you. Look, I appreciate you giving me this antidote, but if Ranger Matthew finds out you murdered Tanid to keep him quiet, the boxing authorities will be the least of your problems. Now he's in the running. Alright. Let's see. Oh, I see one clue. Torn photo. Locked phone. There we go. Up to 7th.
That would be my diagnosis.
The clock's ticking on this case, Matthew. Did you find any clues? A torn photograph. I suppose that could have been dropped by a tourist, but it's worth putting back together. And that locked cell phone could have belonged to our victim. We'll need to crack that password first to find out if it holds any clues. Gotta get some stars first. I'll sit tight. Alright, I'm gonna try to get this off and done already.
There are a lot of ways to pack your breakfast with protein, but the most delicious way is to just add milk. New Nature Valley Cereals. At least 10 grams of protein with milk and a touch of sweetness. For 3 new ways.
Wow. He's being a player. That torn photograph is of our victim, and he's posing here at the ruins with 2, well, I guess you'd call them fans. Right, there's a note written on the photo. It says, "Take your training seriously or find another coach." Is that from Coach Weathers? That's strange. Tanit's trainer had nothing but praise for his champions fighter. You're right, we better have another chat with Orlando Weathers.
The new Royal Blizzard. What's the science behind the fudge suspended inside?
Got his note to Tanit. Oh, I didn't see you come in, Matthew. I'm just finishing a workout. Would you like some of my lemongrass and ginger recovery shake? No thanks. We wanted to ask you about this photograph. You don't sound too impressed with Tanit's training. Sorry guys, my tablet ran out of film room. Tanit tore up that photo and threw it away? That guy was so infuriating. I don't understand. You said you've been training Tanit for a long time, and he was in top condition. He was in perfect shape. He didn't even need to take any vitamin supplements like I do. No, Tanit's problem was discipline. I'm sure by now you figured out Tanit wasn't your conventional athlete. He may have been the champion, but his attitude was garbage. He drank, he smoked, he slept around, but he never focused on training. He was a natural athlete, but Tanit didn't deserve the title. That's a lot of frustration, Coach. Let's hope he didn't take away Tanit's championship belt permanently, or all of your fighters will need to find another coach. Now he's in the running. I don't think it's the wife. I just don't think.
Another day, and I'm still struggling with my diabetes.
Though if it is his wife, I'd understand it.
Best to manage, but it's hard to keep up with it.
Your body and your diabetes change over time. Your treatment plan may too. Know your options. Once daily Tujeo is a long
Did it?
from the makers of Lantus. It releases slowly to provide consistent insulin levels for a full
That phone you found belongs to that bookie, Sean Sensurin. I wonder how it got out here. You're right, Matthew. A guy like Sean won't be very forthcoming with the truth, so we should take a closer look at this phone first. Let's get it to Elliot. How long is it? 9 hours. Alright, I'll get the results tomorrow morning, so for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the unlocked phone. You keep bringing me these gambling-related clues, Matthew. I'm beginning to think you're trying to win big. Gambling-related clues? What did you find on Sean's phone? Well, it won't come as a huge surprise that Sean was a frequent user of an online gambling app. I traced most of his recent bets and he always put his money on Taunted Tong Pro, except for this time. His account shows that Sean was betting a significant amount of money on Taunted losing his title. What? Why would Sean bet all that money against his beloved champion when he's always a sure win? I agree, Matthew. Sean has some explaining to do. And this time it's deciding to backfire. Give me a moment, folks. Okay. Got it figured out. Mr. Samsonen, if you were so convinced that Taunted was a sure win, why were you betting that he'd lose? Yeah, that must seem strange, right? But it's quite simple, Crook. Taunted might have been the odds-on favorite for this title fight, but sometimes you have to look beyond the numbers. Betting is about intuition. That's why I'm the best. And your intuition was telling you Taunted was going to lose? Yes, I could see his glory days were fading. The guy never trained. He partied like crazy. I saw him drinking here at this resort bar all the time. I take vitamins. I stay in shape. Him, he wasn't looking after himself. Taunted was losing his edge. It was only a matter of time before he lost. That's a huge gamble, Mr. Samsonen. If Taunted had won like he normally did, you would have lost a fortune. Let's hope you didn't kill Taunted to even out the odds, or you'll find that your luck has run out. I hate to speak ill of the dead, Matthew, but Taunted Tong Pro isn't turning out to be the national hero everyone would have you believe. At first, Coach Weathers spoke highly of his protege, but was Tannet's attitude toward his training enough to push Dukes over the edge? Tannet was threatening to blow the whistle on Professor Metcalf's harmless performance enhancement trials. Maybe our blue-skinned friend needed to keep him quiet permanently. And perhaps Sean Samsonen wasn't feeling so lucky after all, betting a fortune on Tannet losing his title. Where does that leave us? Great idea, Matthew. Let's return to the murder scene. Maybe there's something we missed at the stadium, but we have to hurry. Locked surveillance camera. It looks like the killer tried to disable that surveillance camera by pulling it off the wall. It doesn't appear to be broken, Matthew, but you'll need to unlock it. And you're right, the killer might have been trying to get rid of evidence in that garbage can. Let's take a look, quick. A loyalty card with some stain on it. Unfortunately, my tablet updated, so I can't get OJ chips and coins anymore on it. I hope you found more than just garbage in that trash can, Matthew. Is that some sort of business card? It looks like a loyalty card for a tattoo parlor, but what's that green stain on it? If you think this card is a lead, we better get this to Lars pronto. Okay, this is the 15-hour one. 7B8. Oh wow, I didn't even have to move my mouse. Nice work decrypting that surveillance camera, Matthew. I wonder if it caught a glimpse of the killer. Let's send this camera to Elliot and see if he can access the footage. Alright, I'll let these two run their courses. And for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, it's Matthew, we're back. And we're now gonna get the results of the surveillance camera. Matthew, thanks for that surveillance camera you sent me. I was getting bored by all those numbers. Happy we could brighten your day, Elliot. So did you find anything of interest? Well, the camera stopped recording after it was pulled down, and most of the data has been corrupted. But I focused my analysis on the footage closest to the time Tanid was killed. Only one individual passed by the camera, meaning it must be your killer. Because of the damage, the footage unfortunately is very dark, and despite running it through an enhancement algorithm, I wasn't able to make a match. You're telling me you found nothing? Elliot, stop wasting our time. Nothing? Does that sound like me? The camera did record a bright distortion of light as the killer passed by, which I can confirm is the reflection of a shiny surface. Given the balance of light and the intensity of the reflection, I have determined that the distortion is reflecting off a glasses lens. So you're looking for a killer who wears glasses. Well, Matthew, the murderer was pretty short-sighted thinking they could get away by damaging this camera. Keep your eyes peeled for a killer wearing glasses. Give me a moment, folks. Okay. Check it out, Matthew. I'm pink again. That antidote worked. That's excellent, buddy. I hope your days of self-experimentation are over. Well, I'm not making any promises. In any case, Matthew, you were inspired to pick up that card at the stadium. That green stain you were wondering about, its composition was a perfect match with the lemongrass I found on the murder weapon. So the killer did try to get rid of this card in the trash. They hadn't counted on Matthew finding it. And if the killer had a loyalty card from a tattoo parlor, it must mean they have a tattoo. There's no way our killer can hide from us now, Matthew. Their tattoo will clearly mark them as the murderer. You found the final piece of the puzzle, Matthew. We've gathered all the evidence we need to arrest Tanid's killer. Let's go get them. Okay, let's see here. It is not Orlando Weathers. It is not Manawan Tongpro. She was clear from the start. It's not Baxter Frazier. Damn it, it's not Marshall Metcalf. It's the bookmaker. Sean Sansurin. You're done, dude. Sean Sansurin, Ranger Matthews arresting you for the murder of Tanid Tongpro. Me, killing a champion Thai boxer? The odds of me being able to overpower a trained fighter are 1,000,000 to 1. Except you said it yourself. You stay in shape. And Tanid had been drinking at the time of his death, so you could have easily taken him by surprise. Yeah, okay, but that brings it down to 1,000 to 1. That's still unlikely, Kroop. The game's up. We found traces of your lemongrass on the murder weapon and your loyalty card. That's honestly all you've got? Who doesn't eat lemongrass in Bangkok? But it narrows the odds. It's 100 to 1 I'm your murderer. You can keep on lying, but cameras don't. We've got footage of you at the murder scene. Your glasses gave you away. What do you have to say about that? Well, that's... Alright, Ranger Matthew, I can't argue with those odds. I did murder Tenet, but it was his own fault. He broke our agreement. Agreement? What are you talking about? Tenet and I made a deal that he'd deliberately lose the fight. I'd bet a fortune and give him a cut. But when I went to the stadium before the fight to confirm the details, Tenet had changed his mind. He refused to throw the fight. I needed that fight to be cancelled. I would have lost everything. You killed a man just to avoid losing money on a bet? Betting on fights is one thing, but organizing shady deals and gambling with people's lives is quite another. You're under arrest for the murder of Tanid Tongpro. Chan Sansurin, you stand accused of murdering Tanid Tongpro. What is your plea? Not guilty, Your Honor. It was self-defense, Krupp. Tanid backed out of our deal and decided he wasn't going to throw the fight after all. He didn't care that I'd gamble my life savings and had also placed bets for the Bangkok Mafia. Those guys don't take kindly to losing their money, and the chances of me surviving a mob hit are pretty slim. I lose everything, including my life. It was him or me, Your Honor. That's hardly the definition of self-defense, Mr. Sansurin. Fixing sports matches for personal profit and doing deals with the mob is risky business. You of all people should understand that. Taking your illegal betting practices into account, Chan Sansurin, this court sentences you to 20 years in prison. 20 years? You know what, Krupp? I bet you I'll be out in 10 for good behavior. That was good work, Matthew, tracking down Tanid Tongpro's killer. The Thai authorities are grateful you solved this case and have given us free rein to conduct our own investigations. We came to Bangkok on the trail of Sombra's next level program, but we're no closer to finding any trace of them. All we know is that video about Sombra's next step in recruitment was recorded here in Bangkok. It's not a lot to go on. Matthew, I just received an encrypted transmission using Bob from someone who seems to know why we're here in Thailand. I don't know who they are, but they know about Sombra's next level program. Ooh. Taking a look at the other ones. Orlando Weathers doesn't wear glasses. Manawan Tongpro, she was clear from the start. Baxter Frazier, no lemongrass, no tattoo, no glasses. Marshall Metcalf, would have loved to bust this guy, but he doesn't have a tattoo. It was Chan Sansurin. I'll see you guys for the next level 1-6. Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's start at the next level 1-6. Matthew, I've received an encrypted transmission using our trusty satellite Bob from someone who seems to know why we're here in Thailand. The message reads, Ranger Matthew, you must continue to investigate Sombra's next level program. The fate of many will depend on you stopping their plans. But you have not finished your work here in Bangkok. Tanid Tongpro wasn't all that he seems. You must dig deeper into his past. I know you have no reason to trust me, Matthew, but you must set aside your doubts and follow your instincts. X. X? What does that mean? That must be this anonymous source's signature. A single X. And exactly how does this X know so much about our operation? Elliot, has there been a breach in our security? Out of the question. My system's safeguards are impenetrable. Well, whoever this X is, they have one thing correct. We have absolutely no reason to trust them. That being said, Chief, I agree with Matthew. We've got nothing to lose by investigating this lead. If we're going to look deeper into Tanid's past, Matthew, I guess we could start at the crime scene. Let's get down there and see what we can find. Matthew, I'm glad I caught you. You've got your hands full with this anonymous tip, but I need your help. Please come and see me when you have some time. Uh-oh. This picture does not sound good. This one, I mean. Let's investigate the stadium first. Then we'll talk to Jonah. Yeah, and as you can see, I already have 3 hint finders. As you can tell, I'm not very happy about it. Tanid. Darn it. Okay. This is frustrating, Matthew. Poking around the crime scene after we've already solved the murder. We should be concentrating on Sombra. I'm not sure we're going to find anything here concerning the Oh, well, I guess you're right, Matthew. A box with the victim's name on it could help, alright. Let's take a look inside that box. I sure wish I could possibly have a character based on myself like how Ace did. With this game. Even though they're not even listening to the players. Torn photo. Did you find anything inside the victim's box, Matthew? It'd help if we had an idea of what we're looking for. A torn photograph. We won't know if that's of any use until we put it back together. You know what to do. And the fact that I have all the stars makes it very doable. That's an odd picture. That photo is a picture of a young boy in a classroom. I wonder if that could be Tanid. You're right, Matthew. This classroom looks familiar, but I don't know why. Let's get this picture to Elliot. Perhaps he can cross-reference it. Okay, it's 9 hours. Now let's find out what Jonah needs help with. Matthew, I'm glad you've come to help me out. It's pretty embarrassing, but you're the only one I can trust not to laugh at me. It might seem trivial given the circumstances, but it's about Marina. Ever since we had that drink in Bhutan, she's been giving me the cold shoulder. I try to talk to her, but get all tongue-tied. And most of the time, I don't know what to say anyway, even if I can speak. Honestly, I want to get to know Marina better, and for her to understand that I'm not a hulking gun for hire. You'll help me, Matthew? That's great. I owe you one. I think I saw Marina leave for that resort bar earlier on. Maybe she's still there. Shall we have a look? We could have a drink while we're at it. First round's on me. Oh, well, thanks a lot, Jonah. Oh boy. Give me a minute, folks. Okay. Okay, I got it in the right one. And it's decided not to do. And it's decided not to cooperate again. There. Marina's briefcase. Hey, is that Marina's carry case? Those are her initials, but I don't see her anywhere, Matthew. That's great, Matthew. I can bring Marina's case back to her, and maybe she'll be willing to go for drinks again. Oh, right. We better make sure it's really hers first. Well, I hear you're good with locks. I'll let you do the honors. You would be correct, Jonah. I will say though, there's one thing I'm actually glad we're not hearing is Marina bitching about her mom anymore, about her mom so many times. Matthew, are you sure this is Marina's case? That flyer isn't quite her style. The flyers for an upcoming Thai boxing fight at the Raja Damnaran Stadium? And that's Marina's handwriting. I recognize it anywhere. She wrote fascinating on the flyer. Maybe we have more in common than I thought. I wouldn't have expected Marina to be at all interested in a fighting sport. Maybe I could get us some fight tickets and surprise her. Darn, you're right, Matthew. This flyer says it's sold out. You think tennis former coach Orlando Weathers might be able to get us some tickets? Well, I suppose it's worth asking. Let's go. Let's see if Coach Weathers can help a person out. Man, you guys from the Bureau are keeping me busy, Matthew. That red-headed young lady was just here. Marina was here? Yes, she came to the gym to ask a bunch of questions about our training, the fighters, and so on. She's gone back to your headquarters now, I think. This is fantastic, Matthew. I had no idea Marina would be so into Thai boxing. Finally, something we have in common. Coach Weathers, I was wondering if you might do me a favor. This is not helping. If you have tickets to the upcoming fights, they seem to be sold out. No problems, my friends. Anything for the Bureau. I'm so grateful you found Tanid's killer. I'm in your debt. I'll get you ringside VIP passes. That was great thinking, Matthew. Now I can surprise Marina with some tickets to these fights she's so keen on seeing. Right on, Jonah. Trying to score the lady. Let's see if she'll go for it. Hi, Marina. We found this case of yours. You left it at the resort bar. Oh, Matthew, thanks for that. I was careless to leave it behind. So, Marina, I was wondering if you might want to come with me to watch the Thai boxing fights you're so fascinated by. I'm as much of a fan as you are, so I got us ringside VIP tickets. Wait a minute, what? How could you... Did you open my briefcase? Well, Matthew thought... Trying to blame Matthew, I see, but what on earth made you think that I'd be remotely interested in watching a fight? I got the impression you were interested in the sport and would be excited to see the fighters in action. I couldn't think of anything worse. I'm intrigued by the psychology of the fighters, what motivates them to want to beat each other's brains in, but I have no interest in watching them do it. Oh, well, so I guess... Let me put you out of your misery, Jonah. I do appreciate the effort you put into this, even if your methods are questionable. I can't say I care about the fights, but you could take me to dinner. Could I? I mean, yes, it would be my pleasure. Score! That's settled then. And Matthew, perhaps you were like this. Coach Weathers was so excited about my interest in his gym, he gave me this Mongkol as a memento. I gotta thank you, Matthew. If it wasn't for you, I'm pretty sure Maureen and I would never have had more than a 2-word conversation. But now we're going out to dinner. What on earth do I talk about? And what am I going to wear? Leave that to Archer. Anyway, I'll let the classroom photo run its course, and I'll see you for that. Morning, folks. It's Matthew. We're back. Let's get the results of the classroom photo from Elliot. Elliot, did you find anything out about that photograph Matthew found among the victim's things? Absolutely. To start with, I ran a facial recognition algorithm on the young boy, which confirms this is a picture of Tanid about 12 years ago. About 12 years old. But that's not all. It's no wonder this classroom seems familiar to you, Matthew, because you've been there before, in Japan. That's it. That's the classroom you found Sanjay hiding in, isn't it, Matthew? I saw the crime scene photographs, but it looked like it had been abandoned for years. 8 years, according to this picture. You're right, Matthew. That classroom must have been used by Sombra as part of their child recruitment program. After all, isn't that where you found their next level video? Could Tanid have been one of the children recruited by Sombra? We need to make sure. Good idea, Matthew. Tanid's wife should be able to tell us more about his childhood. Let's go speak to her. About Tanid's childhood? Let's see what Manawan has to say. Manawan, we found this photograph of your husband as a young boy, and we wanted to ask whether you know anything about Tanid's childhood. Wow, I haven't seen that photograph for a long time. Tanid was very angry when I asked him about it. He told me it was a photo of him at school, but that's all he would say. My husband was very guarded about his upbringing. He rarely spoke about it. I only know that his parents were killed when he was a boy. Are you saying that Tanid was raised an orphan? Yes, but he hated that word. Tanid said it made him sound weak. I think the main reason Tanid drank was because he was depressed about his youth. When he felt really bad, he'd often go to the Ayutthaya ruins to clear his head. We appreciate your help, Manawan. We know it's difficult to speak about your late husband. It's okay, and thank you, Matthew, for finding Tanid's killer. I'm so grateful. Have a lychee dreams meal on the house. It looks like you could use a pick-me-up. So Tanid was an orphan, though he didn't like to admit it. It's becoming hard to avoid the probability he was a Sombra recruit. I wonder if this is what X meant when they said there is more to Tanid than meets the eye. That's right, Matthew. Manawan mentioned that Tanid often went to the Ayutthaya ruins to clear his head. We better look around the park ruins and see if we can find some more clues about Tanid's past. No messages. Okay. Ayutthaya ruins. Ooh. Well, you know what? I already have a ×5 hint, courtesy of this laughable change. But I could have had a chips. Faded letter. You picked up a faded letter, Matthew? Nice catch. It's addressed to Tanid. Let's clean up the rest of this note so we can find out what it says. Warning letter. Matthew, this letter you found reads, Tanid, this fight is your last chance to prove you are still worthy. Remember what happens to those who become weak and are no longer of use to us. Obasan. Tanid received messages from Obasan? Then there is no doubt he must have been one of Sombra's recruits. I hate to admit it, Matthew, but whoever this X is, they were right. There really was more to Tanid than meets the eye. I hate to admit it, Matthew, but if it wasn't for that tip from X, we'd never have discovered that Tanid Tongpro was one of Sombra's recruits. Tanid was only a young boy when that photograph was taken, which means Sombra had been brainwashing children for a lot longer than we imagined. But why did Tanid have to prove his worth to Obasan? To determine if he was still useful? But for what? Is this part of Sombra's next level program? We still have so many unanswered questions. Matthew, we received another encrypted message from X. You're going to want to hear this. It says, you follow my lead and learn the truth about your victim. You trusted my intel once, Ranger Matthew. I hope you'll do it again. You're after information about the next level program. Michelle Zuria in Singapore will be able to help you, but use extreme caution. You must hurry. X. What do you make of this, Matthew? Do you think you can trust X? I wouldn't go that far, but our investigation into Sombra's next level would not have gotten this far without that tip, so I'm inclined to pursue this lead on Michelle Zuria. Everyone get your things. We're going to Singapore. I sure wish they'd just include the burgers with it. So released on May 19th, that's Thursday. So I'll see you guys for that. So for now, I may do another case in Elite mode, but we'll see. I do have over 36,000 energy, but now I have almost 36,900 energy. So let's take a look. If you're going to give us the sticker packs, fine, but at least include the burgers to go along with it. There's one of Sanjay and Kesavan. Okay, that will do. And I'll see you guys for case 32. So for now, this is Matthew. See you later.